What makes you unique and different from all the other graduates of physical therapy entering the profession right now? It's a really interesting question to think about. And it's really a vital piece of information to help understand and develop an awareness. And we're going to go into that in this video series here. You are more than your credentials. You probably know this. Your personal story, strengths, and the unique way in which you bring yourself to a client-customer interaction is unique. And by you gaining insight into what that is, you'll maximize both your enjoyment of the profession and you'll maximize your ability to deliver great results. There was a moment in time when you decided that physical therapy was the right career for you. There was a trigger to that. There was a personal story perhaps, maybe you recovered from some sort of athletic injury or some sort of other injury, or maybe you saw a loved one, family member go through some struggle in which they received either a really great care that you wanted to emulate, or maybe some care that was kind of off-putting. You're like, ooh, I would do things differently. That is the spark with which brought you to the profession and brought you to all this hard work and culmination of it now. So when you think about going forward, you're actually bringing your unique strengths from that inspiring story, and gaining insight into what your unique strengths are will help you tremendously. So there's strengths in multiple different areas, and many of these strengths we don't always highlight and think about in our initial clinical training. And some broad categories are interpersonal skills, work ethic, and problem-solving abilities. We're going to go into each one of those a little bit, and you can maybe relate to some of these skills that may or may not be your unique strengths. So empathy, can you develop trust, and can you develop a connection from the heart quickly with a patient? Communication, are you able to communicate complex situations, problems in a way that's really meaningful, impactful to someone who maybe isn't quite at your level of understanding of that? Collaboration, are you able to bring together ideas and concepts from different people? Are you the person that brings together ideas in those group projects? That's one area, interpersonal skills. Another area is work ethic. Are you someone with a real strong work ethic, right? Are you the person that everybody relies on? You show up consistently, you show up on time, and you're there as other people need you. Is it tenacity? Do you have the tenacity just to get things done, to grit through even when things are challenging, and a no-quit attitude? Is it initiative? Do you initiate the project? Do you initiate solutions, and do you initiate other actions to get things going even when other people are standing still? Problem-solving abilities. Are you a practical person? Do you find actionable items that are practical and people say, hey, you know what, you're really a unique problem solver? Do you use creativity? Is creativity in solving problems or addressing, looking at situations, something that's one of your strengths? Adaptability and balance. Are you the person that can be really flexible, working with lots of complex situations? There's some clinical settings, some projects that things are really conveniently laid out, and when they're not, are you the person that kind of can adapt to those challenges to bring them together? Resilience. Some of you may recognize this. Do you overcome profound adversity, challenges really well, and step up to the plate when things are challenging? Again, we all have elements of these skills within us. Our interest is finding those unique characteristics that really help define us. And by the end of this video, you may not know that quite yet. There'll be some resources we'll connect you with and some ideas that you can use to help find what those unique skills are. You see, oftentimes we think about trying to improve things we're not good at. We have a long history in both workplaces and maybe if you've been in athletics or any other endeavors where they're looking at, hey, where are your weaknesses? Let's bring those weaknesses up. We may need to do that, right? There are plenty of times when you're going to need to get to a certain level of competency to be effective as a professional. And that is absolutely necessary. But to deny the fact that you have a unique skill and only focus on those imperfections is really short-sighted. Because the real gift is finding what your unique interest is combined with your unique skills. That's the sweet spot. That's your superpower. So how do you get to understanding what that superpower is? Well, there's a number of different ways. One is just thinking back in which you accomplished something really tremendous, where you look at that situation and say, hey, what characteristics brought me to the point where I was able to really be a great contributor to that end result? Again, this might be reflecting on some sort of past success in your academic career or in your personal life. An example of that was, did I make a patient feel really comfortable talking about some really uncomfortable things or really in the face of adversity? And do I connect really well with people when they're really challenged? Another way to find out what your unique skill is, certainly talk about the people that know you well, right? That can be family members, your best friends, people that really love you and connected with you, maybe some of your clinical instructors or mentors. They definitely know your strong skills. And just having an honest conversation with them to say, hey, look, there's lots of things I'm going to develop as a professional. What do you say are my really greatest strengths that I really shine with? And really get to understand those. For instance, some clinical instructors might comment something like, hey, you know what, you can be really adaptable to the environment. You can really show up in even amongst challenges, or perhaps you're really organized. Or perhaps maybe you can communicate in a way that's effective and helpful either with team members and or with your patients. So it's good to boil down things to 2, if not 3, really unique qualities that set you apart. Again, it's not necessarily a competition, but everybody's got strengths, as you likely know. And when you combine that with a passion that brought you to the physical therapy profession, that will really help you to become a really terrific clinician, because you'll work on, of course, those areas you need to work on to bring those up to speed, but you'll really maximize and grow those areas of expertise, and that will really allow you to blossom into a terrific individual and a terrific professional, and allow you to share your gifts in a way that is unique to you, right? Use those strengths once you discover them and can clarify them when you talk about yourself, right? At some point, you're going to be in a job interview or you're going to be interacting with colleagues. And it's always good to know what your unique strengths are, particularly as you're approaching job interviews and discussing what opportunities are going to be a best match. So when you identify those unique skills, instead of just saying, hey, I'm a hard worker, which many of you are, of course, because you've gotten to this state of the process, right? You can say, hey, you know what? I demonstrated being a hard worker in a clinical when I stayed late extra to really help a patient out, or I stayed extra to help out a colleague, a classmate, and spent considerable time outside of the expected time frame. So talk about not only that unique skill, but relate it to some specific examples that really bring together that story that shows your unique skills. If you're applying to a position in which you have to demonstrate communication and value, like in a private practice, you might highlight skills where you can build trust and communication and value quickly. Talk about a time in which you were able to convince a patient to stay on schedule, even though they might have had a copay or some sort of inconvenience that would have limited from achieving their goals. So once again, in summary, your strengths are your superpower. And we oftentimes focus on impairments and things we need to bring up to speed in order to help an individual accomplish goals. But even when you connect with patients, finding out their superpower and helping that connect to their goals is really key to helping that person be engaged. It's no different for us as a professional. So what I'd like you to do right now is take a few moments and write down, just off the top of your head, blink response, what do you feel are 3 to 5 unique superpowers, skills, attributes that you have? Ask some of your best friends, colleagues, mentors, even some of your family members, what are my unique skills? You'll start to develop a pattern. Of course, if you're watching this video, you're going to have an accompanying PDF that'll also help you work through that process. So, regardless of where you're at in your career path, whether you've already accepted a position, whether you're looking for a position, or whether you're just starting the search and trying to sort through the process of getting to your next position, reach out and let me know how I can help, right? Feel free to contact me at Eric, E-R-I-C, at pacptot.com, and let's arrange a time to chat. Feel free to give me a text at 920-289-8564, 920-289-8564, and I'd be happy to be of assistance to you to help you get to the next step. And again, look forward to the accompanying PDF if you're watching this video, and I'll catch you next session.